I'm sitting at my kitchen table when it happens. The coffee tastes burnt. I drink it anyway. I've learned not to waste things. My phone buzzes once. Just once. That small sound carries more weight than it should. It's my son. No hello. No warm-up. Just words dropped on me like a box left on a doorstep. He says he's quitting his job next week. Says it casually, like he's telling me the weather. Then he adds the part that makes my chest tighten. He says I'll pay their debts while he reorganizes. I read it again. Slower. The words don't change. My thumb hovers over the screen. I don't type. I don't breathe properly either. I just sit there, staring, feeling stupid for being surprised when maybe I shouldn't be. A notification slides in underneath his message. A missed call from the bank. That's when my stomach drops. Not dramatically. Just enough to let me know this wasn't a conversation waiting to happen. This was already decided somewhere without me. I don't answer him. I don't call the bank back. I stay still, like movement might make it real faster. I start to understand something I've avoided naming for a long time. I haven't been asked to help. I've been assigned a role. Again. My name is Hadley Monroe. I am 69 years old. I've been dependable my whole life. The kind of person people lean on because I don't push back. I didn't become that way by accident. I practiced it. I got good at it. The coffee cools in front of me. The phone stays warm in my hand. I know this moment is connected to others. To choices I made when saying yes felt easier than dealing with what came after. No. And I know that if I don't understand how I got here, I'll answer the next message the same way I always have. I finally set the phone down. I haven't replied yet, but something in me has already shifted, quietly, and it doesn't feel reversible. I keep telling myself I've always been helpful. That's the word I use. Helpful sounds decent. It sounds like a choice. Used sounds like I let something happen. The first loan was small, emergency small. Caleb called late. Voice low. Mom, it's just until my check clears. I didn't even write it down. I told him not to worry about it. That felt generous. It also felt good. After that, things came in pieces. A cosign here, a bridge payment there. Papers slid across my table with corners folded like they'd already been handled by someone else. It's temporary, he said. Just until... I swear I thought I understood what I was signing. I swear I thought I'd look later. Caleb learned a tone. Soft, casual, like asking for a favor you already planned to take. You're better with this stuff than we are. That line worked every time. It made me feel useful. Needed. It also moved the weight from his shoulders to mine without him noticing. I didn't want to be the kind of mother who says no. I told myself no creates distance. I told myself yes, keeps things warm. So I said yes, even when my chest tightened. I said yes and ignored the quiet panic because panic felt selfish. And mothers aren't supposed to be selfish. Renee joined the conversations later. Not loud. Strategic. We hate asking, she said once. That sentence came right before the ask. It always does. Every time I think about those early checks, I smell old paper. Dry. Dusty. Like something stored too long in a drawer you don't open because you're afraid of what you'll find. There's a moment I keep circling back to. Caleb standing in my kitchen. Keys in his hand. Just this once. He said. I nodded. I didn't even ask which once it was. When did helping stop feeling like love and start feeling like pressure I didn't notice when the balance shifted? I only know that by the time I did, I was already standing on the wrong side of it, telling myself it was fine because that was easier than admitting I was scared to say no. The photos on my wall tell a clean story. Birthdays, holidays, their wedding. Smiles frozen at the right angles. If you walked in, you'd think we were fine. Solid. Lucky. I paid for more of those moments than I'll ever say out loud. Mom, it's just easier if you handle it, Caleb said when the venue invoice came. We'll pay you back, Renee added, already looking past me. Like the answer was settled. They had an apartment because I signed my name, not because I wanted to, but because they were standing in my kitchen saying things like, "We just need a decent place, and it's not forever." I nodded. I always nodded. I told myself it was fine because they were trying. Trying is a flexible word. It stretches. It can mean effort, or it can mean intention without action. I let it mean whatever made it easier to sleep. When the rent was late, Caleb shrugged. We're juggling, he said. When the utilities piled up, Renee sighed. It's been a rough month. Every month was rough. Mine too. I just didn't say it. I stopped checking my own account balances regularly. That was dumb. I told myself it was temporary, that things would level out once they got their footing. I told myself a lot of things. The air conditioner hums too loud in my living room. I never fixed it. I kept thinking I'd need that money for something more important, something urgent. There was always something. There's a moment I keep replaying. Renee scrolling through her phone, not looking at me. You're amazing for helping like this, she said. It sounded like praise. It felt like permission. You ever notice how everything's fine is usually a lie people tell so they don't have to stop and look closer? I look at those photos now and see what I missed. Not love, not happiness, invoices, patterns, a version of normal that only worked because I kept paying for it. There's an email sitting unopened in my inbox. Weeks old. I know because I've scrolled past it every morning like it might bite if I touch it. The subject line is plain, too plain, an overseas contract. 6 months, housing included, real money, the kind that doesn't ask you to float anyone else. I applied late one night when I couldn't sleep. I remember that part clearly. The house was quiet. My phone was face down. I didn't tell anyone. Not Caleb, not Renee. I didn't even tell myself it mattered. I sent the application and closed the laptop like it was something embarrassing. I assumed it was a fantasy. Something desperate me did. The version of me that fills out forms she doesn't expect to hear back from. The version that pretends she has options. Now the email is still there, waiting, and it feels dangerous. Like an exit I'm not allowed to take without being accused of something. I open it after reading my son's message for the 4th time. The words are careful, professional. They thank me for my experience. They confirm availability. They list the start date, Monday. That word lands heavy, not poetic, not symbolic, just close, too close. I say it out loud. Monday. My voice sounds strange in the room, like it doesn't belong to me anymore. The fridge clicks on behind me, then off. Annoying. Steady. It keeps doing its job without asking permission. I envy that. I imagine telling Caleb. I imagine the pause, the sharp inhale. You're leaving. I imagine Renee's voice cutting in. Now I haven't even said yes. And I already feel like I'm betraying someone. I scroll to the bottom of the email. There's a line that says they need confirmation within 48 hours. Polite. Firm. I close the message without replying. My hands are damp. I wipe them on my jeans like I've done something wrong. If a way out shows up after years of nothing, do you trust it or do you assume it's not meant for you? I leave the email unopened, but I don't delete it. And that feels like the first honest thing I've done in a long time. I type 3 words. Then I delete them. Then I type them again, slower this time. Like if I rush, they'll turn into something else. That's your problem. I stare at the screen. My finger shakes. I hit send anyway. I don't feel brave. I feel sick, like I just stepped off a curb without looking. There's no relief, no rush, just a hollow thump in my chest and the quiet after something breaks. The phone doesn't buzz right away. That scares me more than if it had. I open the contract email, the same one I've been avoiding. I read it too fast, then scroll back up and force myself to read it again. 6 months, housing included. Responsibilities listed cleanly, like a life that belongs to one person instead of 3. There's a line that asks me to confirm, simple, polite. No guilt attached. I sign it. My digital signature looks small on the screen, almost shy. But it locks into place, and I know that part is done. There's no unsigning. No pretending this was just a thought. I don't call anyone. I don't explain myself to the room. I stand up and go to the drawer where I keep the important stuff. Passport, property papers, a folded list of passwords I update every few months and never show anyone. I start stacking papers on the table. Not clothes, papers. Proof. Things that say I exist outside of being someone's backup plan. I realize I've been preparing for this longer than I want to admit. Saving copies, keeping things where I can reach them fast, telling myself it was just being organized. It wasn't. Is it worse to say no? Or to keep saying yes until there's nothing left of you? The phone finally buzzes. I don't look at it. I keep stacking papers, hands steady now, like they've been waiting for permission to do this all along. The phone won't stop ringing. Caleb, over and over. It buzzes. Stops. Buzzes again like it's offended I'm not answering. Then the texts start coming in from Renee, fast. Sharp, selfish. I can't believe you. This is cruel. Each one lands harder than the last, like she's throwing things just to see what sticks. I stare at her name on the screen longer than I need to. Blocking someone shouldn't feel like lifting something heavy, but it does. When I finally do it, my hands feel strange, light, like I dropped a bag I'd been carrying so long I forgot it was there. Caleb calls again. This time, I answer. "What are you doing?" he says. No hello. No pause. That's the first thing out of his mouth. Not how are you? Not are you okay? Just what are you doing? Like I've missed a step in a routine he's memorized. I'm handling my own things. I say. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. That surprises me. There's a beat of silence, then a sharp breath. "You can't just decide this," he says. We're in the middle of stuff. Stuff. That word does a lot of work for him. "I didn't decide this today," I say. "I just stopped ignoring it today." He laughs. But there's no humor in it. "So what? You're just done helping now." Helping. He says it like a favor. I withdrew without notice. I'm done being responsible for choices I didn't make. I say, my mouth feels dry, but I keep going. That's not help. That's something else. He starts talking over me, louder now, urgent. I don't catch every word, just the edge of panic creeping in. The sink smells faintly like old soap. I notice that instead of him for a second, I should clean it. I don't. You ever notice who panics when they lose access to you? I have to go, I say. And for the first time, I don't wait for permission. I hang up before he can answer. The phone stays quiet after that. Not peaceful, just quiet. And I understand something I hadn't before. They don't miss me. They miss what I made possible. He calls back later that night, not yelling this time. Controlled, careful. That's when I know he's ready to argue like he means it. "Mom," he says, slow, like he's talking to someone unreasonable. "We're family. Family supports family." He says it like a rule, like gravity, like something I agreed to when I gave birth. I don't answer right away. My knee is bouncing under the table. I press my hand against it, but it keeps going. "Okay," I say. "Then tell me one thing." He exhales. Impatient. What one repayment date? I say, one amount, just one. Any time you paid me back what you said you would. Silence. Not the kind where the call drops. The kind where someone is scrambling for words they don't have. I mean, he starts, then stops. We've helped in other ways. That's not what I asked. I say, my voice doesn't rise. That feels important. Another pause. Longer this time. Why are you being like this? He says finally. You're being selfish. That word again. Like a stamp he keeps slamming down until it sticks. Something in me snaps. Not loud, not dramatic. Just done. Support isn't a lifetime subscription. I say, it doesn't mean I disappear so you can stay comfortable. You're my mother. He says, you're supposed to be there. I have been there. I say, I just stopped being invisible. He laughs. Sharp and offended. So you're choosing money over family now? No. I say, I'm choosing not to drown quietly so you don't have to learn how to swim. He doesn't answer that. He can't. He shifts tactics instead. This isn't fair, he says. You're breaking us apart. I look down at my hands. They're steady now. The bouncing has stopped. No, I say. I'm just stepping out of the middle. He hangs up without saying goodbye. I sit there for a long moment, phone in my hand, realizing something heavy and clean at the same time. If family won't respect a line, where do you draw it anyway? I stop explaining myself. I stop rehearsing arguments in my head. I start doing things instead. I cancel the cards first. The ones tied to accounts I opened just in case. The ones that somehow became everyday tools for emergencies that never belonged to me. Each cancellation feels blunt. Final. Then I close accounts. Not all of them. Just the ones that blurred lines I should have drawn years ago. I change passwords. Long ones, ugly ones. The kind you can't guess from birthdays or old habits. The bank guy asks me to confirm my name. Then again, his voice is polite but careful, like he's stepping around something fragile. Once this is done, he says, it's permanent. I know, I say. I don't hesitate. That surprises both of us. He clears his throat. Are you sure you want to remove yourself as cosigner? Yes, I say. I'm sure. There's a pause. Paper shuffling on his end. You understand this may cause complications for them. I understand. I say, what I don't say is that complications are the point. Each click feels like locking a door I left open for years because I told myself it was kinder that way. I half expect something dramatic to happen. A call. A warning. Lightning through the ceiling. Nothing happens. The quiet that follows isn't empty. It's clean. I print the confirmations. The printer jams halfway through. Paper folded in on itself like it's given up. Of course it does. I laugh once. Just once. It comes out sharp, but real. I've spent so much time arguing for my right to stop. Turns out I didn't need permission. I needed follow-through. When I hang up, my hands aren't shaking. My chest feels lighter than it has in years. Not happy, just steady. Why does action feel cleaner than explanation? I stack the papers neatly. I don't call anyone to announce what I've done. I don't wait for approval. I just sit there for a moment, realizing something simple and terrifying at the same time. This part is done. And there's no one doing it. The knock comes hard. Too hard. Not polite. Not checking. Demanding, Mom, Caleb says from the other side. Open the door. I don't move. My hand is on the back of a chair, gripping it like it might slide away. We're worried, Renee adds, her voice tight and loud. You're not answering. This isn't normal. Normal. That word again, like a leash. I hear you, I say through the door. My voice surprises me. Steady. My hands are shaking anyway. Then open it. Caleb says, we need to talk. We don't need to talk inside my house. I say, "You can leave." There's a pause. Then a sharper knock. "If you don't open up," he says, "I'm calling the police. For your safety." My stomach flips. Not fear, anger. Clean and fast. For my safety. I repeat, "You mean to scare me?" Renee starts crying then. Or pretending to. Hard to tell. The sound scrapes. "We just want to help you," she says. "You're acting irrational." I step closer to the door. I don't touch the handle. "I'm not opening it," I say. "And I'm done being responsible for your lives." Caleb's voice drops. Dangerous quiet. "So you're really doing this?" He says. "You're choosing this." "I'm choosing to stop," I say. "That's all. You're breaking this family." He says. "No." I say, "I'm stepping out of it." There's silence. Then footsteps. Fast, angry. Renee mutters something I can't make out. A car door slams. Tires squeal when they pull away. That sound sticks in my chest longer than it should. I lock the door even though it already is. Then I slide down it, slow, like my legs finally gave up permission to hold me. I cry hard, loud, ugly, no control. My face presses into my hands and I don't care who hears. My chest aches like I ran too far without stopping. I don't cry because I feel guilty. I cry because I didn't open the door. Would you have opened it? Be honest. When the tears slow, I stay there on the floor, breathing, shaking, still standing on the right side of the door, even though it hurts. I leave before sunrise. I don't tell anyone. The house is quiet in that way that feels earned. Not lonely. The airport smells like bad coffee and floor cleaner. I keep moving so I don't think too hard about turning around. On the plane, I open my phone and change my emergency contact. I stare at the screen longer than I expect to. Removing my son's name feels heavier than signing the contract did. I replace it with someone who won't ask me to fix their life. That small change hits me in the chest. I breathe through it and keep going. Weeks pass. I work. I sleep. I eat without checking my phone first. Then one night, a message comes through from him. It's longer than usual. No demands. No pressure. He says he gets it now, says he messed up, says the debts didn't disappear when I did, says he had to sell things, pick up extra shifts, face people he avoided. He writes like someone who finally ran out of shortcuts. I believe him. Kind of. Belief feels cautious now. Earned slowly. I don't go back. I reply with love. With limits. I tell him I care. I tell him I'm not his solution anymore. My hands still shake when I hit send, but I don't delete anything this time. I don't know if this distance is forever or just for now. I sit with that instead of forcing an answer. Some things don't need to be solved to be true. Here's what I've learned. And I say this quietly. Not like a rule. Love that requires you to erase yourself isn't love. It's a transaction with a pretty name. Helping someone grow sometimes looks like stepping out of the way and letting the ground teach them what you never could. If this story sounds familiar, if you've been carrying more than your share because saying no felt cruel, talk about it. Share your line. Share how you found it or how you're still looking. Someone listening needs to hear that choosing yourself didn't end the world. It just finally gave you a place in it.